Are we live? Is that appropriately gravid music for tonight, the Viking night, here at the Ozone? So we're gonna do some Viking weaving. Now, y'all don't have to do it. You can sit back, relax, watch, enjoy. Um, Sorry for the slightly late entry. We've been having some interesting buffering issues on the interwebs today. So we're here now, we're live, and we'll just do this for as long as it lasts. Ken is here. Good to see you, Ken. Thank you so much for swooping in. And John is here. Good to see you as well. Thanks for coming by. Jackie is here. We got to see her live easier. It was easier. It was easier than doing your own live. Go watch Jackie's live. It's so good to see you round the live streams, Jackie. That was a super fun romp through your own mineral collection. Thank you so much for treating us to the gobs and gobs of incredible gems and minerals that you have. Sonia is here and she's sanding while she watches. I love that. Let me know if you're working while you watch, because yeah, either you can go ahead and join in on the project where we're going to do the tutorial for learning how to do the Viking weave, and we'll get as far through it as we possibly can. And then if you're doing something else, I kind of, it always feels like art school or something like that to me when everybody is just kind of working and you've got that fun electricity of everyone working on projects and being creative all at the same time. So please, by all means, work while you watch. Sean's here and with us making tea. Oolongs a brewing. Well, Steinkerns to you all. And I have my tea here, being as careful as I can. I've got green tea, honey and lemon this evening. And then I also have Steinkerns of a cold Orangecita drink. Plenty of citrus to clear up the verklemtitude that the Schmelkus and my Connecticus link that seems to still be hanging on. So Steinkerns to you all. So wonderful for you to join on a Monday. How unusual. And yet, I figured since Kyle wasn't going to be doing any rapping this evening, why not hang out? I knew I was going to be working. Sounds like you guys are working too. So it's a good time to just everybody kick back and work or relax after work together. So we have Melissa is here, and boy, Melissa was definitely showing off some cool stuff in the Discord. If you didn't have a chance to see that, these super cool best friend Tabasco agate necklaces, very cool. Cody's here, Lisa's here. Seems like I've missed you, seeing you around. So it's really, really good to see you joining the party tonight. And y'all, Rocky's here. Ken said something earlier about not having the right headgear. I seem to have misplaced my Valkyrie headgear as well. So with or without helmets, y'all, we're going to go forth and conquer ye Viking weave together. We have Tomcat Josh in the house, and it was super fun seeing your cats be so stoked to be home. I'm so glad that you landed safely there back in Oregon. Yay! So good to see you. Cheryl is here. Thank you for coming by. And Kirk is here. And is there an echo, echo, echo? Does anybody else hear the echo, echo, echo? Can I hear it? Do I have stadium audio? It's funny because you guys whoa, wait, what? There's a yellow thingy and a blue thingy. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm a little bit behind in the chat, and so I better catch up. And Thank you, John, so much. Let me put this up here. And, I am kind of feeling better. I guess I do kind of hear a little bit of an echo. Echo, echo. I think it's my phone. I'm using it as a second device, and let me see if turning that all the way down is going to help that echo. Thank you for picking up on that. We don't need to be residing here in the Echoplex, but thank you, John, for your continued support. And I am feeling a little bit better. I still have the upper head, ugh, and I'm trying to kick that, and thus the tea and orange. Yummy drink. And it looks like thank you so much, Kyle. I really, really appreciate the super as well. You guys are awesome for supporting the channel, and you know where it goes. Some of it goes right back to Kyle. Boy, did we ever have a good time with the opals and that incredible 25% off sale that Kyle was having. And so I believe that Kyle can go ahead and maybe make a plug in the chat here, but I do believe that he was supposed to be continuing that 25% off sale until he comes back. And so if you missed it because you didn't get your tax refund yet, or your paycheck needed to land in your account or something like that, I do believe you have a little bit more time to take advantage. You can go back through the material and drop him an email or something like that. Now, you can set me right if I'm wrong. Kyle, you might be having to work through your staycation a little bit. And Spot is here and he's saying no echo. That's good news for me. Maybe Kirk is wearing his bat ears and, he can hear me from over the coast range over there. But thank you guys for the feedback. Tomcat saying that there isn't an echo for him either, as well as Cheryl not having the echo effect. Excellent. Boot is here. Good to see you, Boot. Boy, also sharing gorgeous shapes in the lapidary section over there. Those latest cuts and polishes, just gorgeous. Ken, thank you so much for sharing those with us. Christy is here. Good to see ya. She's saying, hey, hey, rock peeps. And I just now read Kyle's note here. Thanks for the live, since I'm not organized enough for it today. And I feel like, wow, I'm ever having renewed respect for Kyle. For one thing, he runs such a smooth live sale, and for his marathons like he did for the big discount weekend, just incredible how smooth and on point he is. And then to turn around and do another live on Monday seems like that's just so much. And so here we are doing a live on Monday. Monday caught me a little bit on my heels. And I didn't even do lives all weekend long. I think we saw each other on Friday, and that's a good. Um, and we're talking about wearing only animer furs, like berserkers, or the Ulfen Ulfedar Ulfednar. Yeah, like that. So everybody get your furs on so that we can kick some Viking weave in the Patukas. And it looks like Jeff is here. Good to see you. They also had a really fun live that I caught the end of. And I'm sure that everybody went and checked out the Topher Spin live. I know that Allison was really looking forward to, it's not like that there's a their community and an our community, but all of us enthusiastic about rocks that fall out of the sky, also as well as the rocks that we usually find on the ground. That was really interesting. So I hope y'all had a chance to go and check out that fun live over there. And I'm like gonna try to scroll skull. Yeah, one of these. We're off to such a good start. I think I smell burned rubber. Like, um, Skull, and I'm gonna try to scroll down the chat to catch up with y'all. Ryan is here. Good to see you. Oh, green tea is so good. Good for the throat. Um, and I know that John's usually drinking his chai, and Sean was talking about some oolong. That sounds lovely, and hopefully you have something. See, great in your cup so that that you can clear your throat and head. And who is helping with your war paint, Rocky? I would love to know. Um, and oh, did you have a painful time with your live, Jeff? Took forever to cut those three. It's those agates really take the life. They steal the life and soul right out of those saw blades. And so when you were sitting there with that little thing, I felt with you. I felt for you on having not the best blade. I just well, it seems like I just got a new blade, but I guess it's been a while now. But like getting a fresh blade is so nice, especially if you don't have a carriage guide or something like that on your saw. We have the same saw. And so I sit there and I hold it. And it like a dull blade put me off agates completely. I was like unwilling to do any by hand. I was like, no, I'll just look at them the way that they are. And I was willing to do other material, but get yourself a new blade and you'll be enjoying cutting again. At least until you can wear out that blade a little bit. Those Montana agates, I got some that are so pretty that I really want to cut for the dendrites and perhaps for the iris. And I'm trepidatious because I don't want to dullen my bladens. And it was still fun stuff, Jeff. Definitely, Melissa. I concur. Hazelnut Trafor for me, says Christy. Trafor? What is this thing you speak of? Hazelnut sounds so good right now. I love savory, like I love chocolate drinks and things that have like they're not over sweet. I love hazelnut because usually stuff like that isn't over sweet. And John is gonna be right back because chai. Yeah. And yeah, we know your tea routine for sure. And uh Soul likes to stay out of the blades. Good. And Ken is asking about dressing the blades, which is a really good question as we're going through some tips and tricks here at the top of the live stream before we get into our tutorial. Um, Dressing the blades using an old brick or something like that is a good way. I like to cut those concretions that I find on the beach, like the ones that have the Torito wood or something like that, because they kind of are like a brick. And so you can have the thrill of cutting through some Torito wood and finding something pretty, and then also be dressing your blade at the same time. But that's really good advice. And so I hope everybody got some good rock hounding or maybe some minding or some finding done over the weekend if you didn't hang out with us through Kyle's wonderful live sale. So I'd love to hear about that from you guys. And Spot was just saying those tough agates, Mother Nature reminding you who is really in charge. That is so, so true, Spot. And Rocky's trying to avoid indecent exposure charges. Think that's a good plan. Um, so I guess that you're trying to say that you won't be coming on to the live tonight. Okay. That Opal guy is here. Good to see you. And Ryan is saying that's why he doesn't video the cutting um, of the geodes and whatnot for that. I agree. I definitely agree. The blade is a new blade, says Jeff, but not a sintered blade, and it doesn't cut good. Takes forever with that blade. Yeah, I really like the thin blade that comes with the 10-inch saw, that high-tech diamond, that sintered one. I replaced mine. I just like it so much that I decided when I had like just killed it thoroughly that it was time for another one, because I had done a little bit of research and it can be hard to find another good blade. There's always that. I think that Jared over at Currently Rocking Hounding has some really great information about saw blades and how to shop for them. And there is an exchange sometimes. Sometimes you get what you pay for, as far as spending some extra money and getting some extra diamond on there and having it be a good saw blade, as opposed to getting something inexpensive and possibly missing out, or a saw blade that's just going to get that diamond just rubbed out too fast. And we know we love cutting too much for that. So I usually just try to suck it up and get something good right from the get-go, so that we can go back to cutting for at least, forget about it for a little while. But you tell me what your guys' favorite blades are in the chat or in the comments, because that always helps everybody else out. And so I would love to hear what other folks like to use. And context matters, doesn't it, Rocky? That's great. And Scott is here. Welcome in, Scott. And Scott has been finding agates on Driftwood Beach, getting sandy, but still finding some. Great, Scott. Yeah, it's been a sandy season. There's been some decent washouts here and there, but it's not like last year was so good. It spoiled me rotten. Whoa, Mr. Turtle Montana. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Oh, thank you so much. To help refill your jar of patience, since my horrible jokes on Friday night caused you to deplete your entire supply. Oh, not at all. That's so sweet. Thank you so much, Mr. Turtle Montana. Your beautiful wit and humor is always welcome. Believe me. Again, when I'm a little bit on the sick side, well, I would say all the time, I can be a little bit on the gullible side, and sometimes stuff goes berserk. And so you know how I love wit though, and I'm all about wry comments, and of course, any situation where the where we can bring the audience in and have an MST3K type moment is absolutely my favorite way to fly. So you are so welcome, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll consider that going towards the next saw blade fund. um I really appreciate you and all y'all that like keep us cracking up in the chat stream. It's always such a good hangout. It was super fun earlier today at Jackie's, and Kyle's all weekend long was a blast. And so you guys totally rule. And it looks like Rufo has joined us. How does your meatloaf? I think I saw some kind of comment going by about that. And Rufo is offering, I used some sandstone like a dressing stick, and it worked well because it was fairly loose and soft. Excellent. And that definitely sounds, maybe like a little bit more fun than cutting a brick, although you're doing a job. So if it's a brick, right? But definitely having something like that, like I said, my concretions are my favorite thing to use for that, will help like mix it up a little bit and to see what works for you. So yeah, if somebody would like to share links for things, that would be great. And so Jackie is going to hopefully share up a link for some folks in Minnesota. Very good. And Jackie, maybe you said, and I can't hear and read. What size blade do you use most, and how much are they? I probably missed it if you posted it up earlier, which totally reminds me. If I don't see something, feel free to shout at me. I see where I missed stuff. I usually review afterwards so that I can pick up on the stuff that I missed during a live. And I do miss some really important stuff, and believe me, it's not personal. And one of the things that John always says is make sure to put up the live stream instead of the top chat, like the live chat rather. You'll be able to see everybody's comments. But anyways, to address what you're saying here, Jackie, is I have a 10-inch high tech saw that I put their high tech diamond saw blades into, and when they send you when you buy it new with a notched blade, which is like supposed to be an agate eater, and it's got like a pretty wide cut or a kerf to it, and then there's a red blade that is their centered thin blade, and it's lovely. It cuts through agates and things when it's new like butter, and it's easy to abuse. And so that's what I like using right now, the high-tech diamond blades, just because they work so well. And um, with high-tech diamond, you can definitely either use somebody's discount code. I'm an affiliate, and so either use a discount code, or you can catch them on one of their really good sales. Like they just had, I believe they just had their 40-year anniversary. So they had like a 25% off all of their not machines, but not machines or gift cards, I think, but everything else. And so save up for when they do that. And, plan on getting either more discs for your flat lap if you're wearing through those, or get your saw blades then, but you don't have to pay full price for their stuff if you don't want to. And the next sale that they should be having coming up is probably the July 4th sale, and which isn't that far off. And so that one's usually a really good sale. I think you get 25% off of this stuff, everything but their machines. And so there's a little plug for that. And then if I didn't hit what you need to, oh yeah, and Jeff is keeping me honest here. He says that their center blade is about $78, which sounds right. And so thank you for remembering the second half of that question for me. And oh my gosh, thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate that. All of her money went to World of Rockhounds. I hear you. Cheers. But thank you. Every bit counts. I really, really appreciate it. And so cheers to you. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that. I appreciate the support for uh, the channel. This, you guys know, either goes to our music, our platform, which you guys are obviously seeing that I'm still learning how to use best, because what ends up happening is I use the music and then it makes me sound like a robot or something weird like last time. I'll keep on throwing the spaghetti at the wall and we'll see what sticks. But it helps the channel afford the subscriptions for this stuff. And then also we're going to be planning a trip down to the opal mines soon. The Oregon fire opal. So I'm gonna be trying to pull together all of my pennies to be able to afford some nice facet grade Oregon fire opal. And of course, I'll share all of the video and the spoils and everything with you guys for that as well. So it looks like Allison is here. Awesome. Great to see you. I'd love to hear how your sale went. Let me know in the chat. I dipped in for a little bit and lurked around, and it was a super fun time. And it was really nice to just be able to see so much of that material, the meteorite material. And y'all had a really nice blend of prices and stuff like that. Hope you'll do that again sometime soon. And Jackie is asking if I'm gonna go meet Jamie, and I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna do Jamie's mine or if we're gonna do Outlaw Rocks. And so that we haven't arrived yet at exactly what's going to happen with that. And I see a hello to Great Basin Adventures. And so hello and welcome into the live stream. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you joining us. And we have Inspector Agate instead of Inspector Gadget. I like that. And Allison is saying that the sale went great. Thanks for everybody for stopping in. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, I hope that the community stepped up and out for yeah. Um, and we have another, oh my gosh. Thank you so much, John. And this is for future opal mining. I know that John enjoys that. I believe, John, didn't you get some Outlaw Rocks opal? And I'd love to hear in the chat or over there in the comments how much you loved your opals that you got. That is so cool that you got some, and thank you so much for that. That's super duper extra double helps because of course Karen wants to get all the opal possible. I would like to get a bunch for, of course, faceting, but then also I think that Theo needs some, and he was recently so generous with me with the labradorite. I need to hit a brother back, and so I think I'm going to be going on an errand for him since he's much farther away from that than I am. But I would love to hear from John as far as how your parcel came, because I think a lot of people were interested in ordering parcels from those guys, and so it would be good to know that hey, you don't have to drive all the way down there like I want to. That you can go ahead and order your goods and get some awesome stuff. Oh, this is good to know, Allison. Again, John, thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate you. And Allison is saying, Rufo, go check it out. The sale prices are available for the rest of the week. And so, Allison, if you have a link, you are welcome to throw it up in the chat. Don't throw up. But if you want to throw the link up in the chat, then maybe folks that want to go check out that live in hindsight and maybe take advantage of some of those sales, they can. And again, if I'm missing your comments, I super extra double apologize. And Inspector Agate is here and all the fine chatters. Hi. I love that handle. That is great. Well done. Well played there. And that's funny. Chris is saying that his meatloaf is in the oven. And for just a second, I was picturing the musician. So good. I'm glad that your dinner is on the way. Excellent. And uh-oh, it looks like the fisticuffs are already happening in the chat. Um, Melissa and Brian, am I gonna have to separate you two? Okay. And Jackie also, I'm being asked to ignore things, so I will. I will. And Allison, thank you so much. She did just put the link into the chat, so you can go ahead and follow that and check out that wonderful sale that they had. To be a little bit more clear, those of you who are just listening or don't know what I'm talking about at all, we always promise tangents here, and boy, am I ever making good right this second already. But Allison Prairie Girl Rocks is part of a group that had a great big meteorite sale. They don't sell the meteors. I keep on wanting to say the wrong thing there. And it's Topher Spin Rocks, I believe. There's a link in the chat that will take you over to that sale if you wanted to check it out. But there was a beautiful variety of meteorites up in there, and that was fun. And I think that we are pretty tangents. I know, so many tangents running around so early. I mean, it's not even, well into spring and we haven't seen a whole lot of summer kind of sun yet. So how is anybody tan at this point? I don't know. Oh yeah, Brian was talking crap about your gravels too. Well, he had some truth in the matter as far as you having all of the rocks. think I think you might. Hey, old Slim Pickens is here as well. He just joined in. Good to see you. And thank you for sharing your projects over there on the Discord. Some really cool stuff going on over there. As far as I loved seeing that turquoise necklace that you just finished. It's always a nice thing to see people, posting up their work in progress and then showing the finished piece and that sort of thing. If somebody might be dragging their heels a little bit on something, it always helps to see somebody else finishing something. It might be helpful and inspiring, if you know what I mean. So we're all always working. Um, and so Steinkern to everyone once again. I hope that you have something delicious in your cup. And let's get to some of this stuff here. The Viking Weave is what we're going to be concentrating on this evening. And if you don't want to partake, you don't have to. Obviously, you can be all over the place in the chat or doing your own work in progress as we're working. So the Viking knit is a form of art practiced by the Norse people as far back as 8th century and by people of Iceland and Denmark as far back as the 1st century BC. And that was information from the Paramount Center of the Arts. And so we love our Viking weave. The look is very cool. It's a very versatile chain as far as something that you can make for to hang, say, a pendant off of. It's something that you can do yourself. Those of you who have some silversmithing background, you might or might not love doing chain making, but chain making sometimes makes me want to poke my eyes out with my jewelry pliers a little bit. And so Melissa was saying, yeah, it happens to me all the time. Y'all constantly inspire me. Believe me, I think that we're all inspiring each other a whole lot because a lot of times I'll go on and I'll see somebody doing something. I'm like, okay, I need to get to work too. And so the what oh, it looks like my mom is in the house. Did she sneak in? Oh, there she is. Mom is in the house to see the Viking weave. And so she got started on learning how to do the Viking weave when she was here during the fall. So that was a good time. So she's back for a buff up on what she learned how to do. But where I was going with that is that if you're a cold connection person, and I'm not talking about this being a personal assessment of your disposition or something, what I am talking about though is if you have the tendency, like if you're a wire wrapper or do that sort of thing where you're not really wanting to partake in having to torch things, not set up to do it, you're in an environment where it's not kind to set stuff on fire, etc., the Viking weave is a great way for you to make your own chain with no fire. So even in the end, when you create your findings, you can figure out, like the clasp, you can do ways of even weaving into the weave itself the connectors for your clasp, so you don't have to solder anything at all. So if you're a weaver or a wrapper, then the wire wrapping kind, then this is a great alternative perhaps to buying some of the store bought chains if you feel like you would like to be able to make your own chains for your art pieces that are wearable. And it looks like Brian is in the house. Cheers and Steinkerns to you. And you guys, thank you so much for saying hi to my mom. It's always very, very well received. She loves hearing from you all, so I really, really appreciate that. And so here is an example of a bracelet that I made from the Viking weave as well. So that first shot, you could see that there's varying widths. We can actually, let's go back there really quick. There is super duper beefy, and you can vary the widths with the gauge of wire that you use, and you can also vary the width by how many times you pull it through your draw plate and what form you are using to build the weave upon. And I'll answer, like, that kind of sounds a bit cryptic, but I'll address that here in a second. But I am a more of a metalsmith, and so you can see that what I wanted to show you with this is not only is it a necklace thing, you can make bracelets and earrings and all sorts of other things out of your Viking weave, but also you can be very creative in the way that you make the connections. And so in this case, I just wanted to make a nice barrel kind of clasp type thing. And so that's a 2-to-1 bracelet design that I absolutely love, and a thunder egg that's in there, the thunder egg agate. Let me get caught up here really quick. And I'm hoping, like, again, if you have a question or something, then let me know. If I've missed something, just say it again because I'm a little behind. So, Sonia is asking me, I believe, let me backtrack to the necklace here really quick. So, that was my maker's challenge, and this gauge is 30. And so, you're going to see some of this tonight. I do not recommend starting with the 30 gauge, though, because it's really quite thin, and it feels like you need 3 hands for it. You can get the hang of it, but like it's a little tricky to start off with. I would recommend starting with a bigger gauge, like 26, 24. You can go down as low as 22, although that's getting pretty thick and might be a little bit hard to manage. And so hopefully that answers your question. I just love how supple supple, movable, and small the 30 gauge gets. I can get it down to about 2.5 millimeters in its width, and so I do like that very much. This is done with, I believe this is like a 24 gauge here. It's either 24 or 26. And so, obviously thicker, but that's nice because if you're going to be wearing it on your wrist where you might be thunking it into countertops, or it might take a little bit more wear and tear, then it's nice to have something that's a little bit thicker, a little beefier. And so let's move on to where we were. And this is a piece of graveyard point agate that I did some lapidary on. Like, I've done the lapidary on everything that you've seen so far. And this guy is a bigger gauge. Again, probably either, I would say probably the 24. It's pretty thick. And so that looks really nice for like a bigger, maybe even like a choker style of necklace. And you can do a clasp that the connection that goes on either side of your amulet, or you can go ahead and do a complete through, which I really like doing, especially if I use the thinner gauges. And I don't have any of those right now to show because they are out the door as soon as I make them usually. And so wait, I see some. Whoa! Oh my gosh, Tom! Tom gets Josh Steinkerns. I'm stuttering. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. I'm a bit behind. Thank you. You're awesome. Wow, I think I'm a solid 3 minutes behind. That's terrible. Thank you so much. And it's usually a 10-second delay. And Inspector Agate is not Jeff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, got it. Thank you to Steinkerns, to you. Cheers, cheers, cheers. The end caps. Oh, okay. Thanks again. You know where this goes. Maybe some gas in the tank so that we can come see you in Redmond. I think we should do a meetup at some point. And good on you for having a safety meeting as well. And so I really, really appreciate that. And then thank you, Melissa, for the comment on those end caps. It's fun to be creative, and sometimes by the time you're done making the entire piece of jewelry, you lose a little creativity there at the end. But making some cool things for even your connectors is like a really, really cool place um, to put some real originality into your piece for sure. And yeah, that's like hair size, Sonia, for sure. And I think I'm almost here. And Boots giving you the big Josh. And bust out your pliers, says Montana. Drop rhymes about rapping with wires. My work's the bomb. Karen's mom's my biggest buyer. Nice. Oh, Montana, I love it. This is great. Okay, and so Tomcat was super happy to be in the 420 area code Yellowstone. Hey, dude, how did you do on the Yellowstone? I would love to hear the report on how that went. Very, very nice. And so, anyways, I was just trying to just show some different examples on some of the different project directions that y'all could do. And I mean, obviously, you can make just like a plain uh, necklace or a plain bracelet that just is the wrap going around. Like actually, this one is one that I didn't finish, so it's got nothing on one side, and it had the clasp on the other side, and you know would make a great little necklace, or rather a great little bracelet. And that's a beefier when we had a bunch of them made. Steve actually makes some of these too, and we were sharing them with a bunch of the people at his work and stuff. And so dudes and ladies and everybody seem to want to get their hands on a bracelet. So they're easy to make when you don't have a lot of room to sprawl out with your materials, and easier to stay consolidated, not so easy to bounce your tray and lose your beads all over. So if you're doing something on the road, like you're traveling, or you are a traveler like a nomad, this is like the Viking Weave is super awesome for all of that. And so the here's you want a beefy bracelet, says Jackie. Well, you get one. All right? Like you just straight up, I will make you a beefy bracelet. If you're serious, I would love I would love to make you one. And Bye Squirrel Rocks is here. Hey, it's been a minute. Where have you? I've been hanging out, like laying up a bunch of acorns, or what's the deal? Good to see you. Um, and and Brian, are you asking where's the beef? um, Only okay, says Tomcat Josh, about the Yellowstone. All right, and you've got a Wednesday show. Hey, everybody. Tomcat Josh is going to have a show on Wednesday. If a wrench wants to share his channel link on the chat, that would be awesome. And Josh does the Hump Day Wednesday live, and I always love that. I like how everybody is making the little lily pad lives for each of us to jump from one to the other throughout the week. This is awesome. And excuse me, Jeff would like to know what time while we Steinkern. All right. And AL Gold is in the house. Good to see you. Oh, and AL Gold is uploading the Opal doublet video, so that should be good. All right. So 6 p.m. Oregon time, that specific standard. So adjust accordingly if you're from someplace else. And Jackie would love a bracelet. Gonna learn how to do this fancy wire making thing you are going to teach us. Okay, so either you can make one yourself, or if you're not right away able, then I will send you one out. um, and Jeff is talking about doing one tomorrow or Thursday. This is great. See, we're all linked together now. I usually don't wear safety goggles just for like doing wire things, although you can poke your eye out. I think some of you guys that are rappers probably have done that before. This is weird with my headphones on, but these are actually bifocular. And so it's helpful. Like if you don't see so good, you definitely want to run and go get your see better glasses to start off with. And I've got like this pile of the goods here, and let me see about doing that. I want uh to make you bigger. There we go. One more try. There we go. Gee whiz. It's always so much fun relearning this. And Brian's not Jeff either. Oh gosh. And okay, Jackie, that's a deal. And it doesn't, Brian, it's not complicated. It's not. It's easier than you think. And so here's a couple examples like I was holding up before. And if you want to, Sonia, if you want to practice on some brass first, they sell brass like this in the hardware store. Hardware store is a great place to source some of your materials for wire. And so they intend, I think, this for electric use. And because I wanted to start judging how it was going to work with silver, I practiced on the brass first, and using my draw plate and everything, and then I started on with the silver so that I wouldn't waste it. And then I also like to use brass for the thing that I'm about to show you guys how to make to get started with our project. And so at any rate, using an alternative kind of material to practice on is nice. Sterling is super, super expensive right now. So I love using copper when I have ideas or when I'm learning how to do something new. You can make your prototypes, and then also you can make super cool chunky weave bracelets for friends like Jackie that way. And so I'm going to try to keep up with the comments good so that I do not lose track of any questions or anything like that, or if I'm sounding like a robot, or if I miss something else really super important, or if I call somebody their wrong name, because it all could happen. It all could happen now, today, as we speak. So Allison was talking about having to wear an eye patch for a week. Are you serious? Did you poke your eye out? Ugh. And Melissa's talking about buying all of the copper wire wrapping from Ace Hardware. Yeah. So here's this. I'm going to be using, let me put this up here really quick. I'm going to be using this tonight with you guys, and just for demonstration purposes. And so this here is 24 gauge, and you can see this is right off of the shelf of the hardware store. And this is like a great way. And plus, I mean, you can pick this up on the road. Once again, if you are doing the nomad thing, or if you are traveling, going rock hounding, and you want something to do fireside or in camp, or even while you're driving on the road, not if you're doing the driving, but if you're the passenger, it's an awesome thing to do. If you've got like long, boring road to conquer, you can go ahead and do that. And so, actually, let's go ahead and do step one. You've got your wire, whatever gauge it is, and you've got your spectacles if you need them so that you can see. And then the next thing that you're going to need is your wire cutters and a ruler or a paint stir stick, or some molding or something like that, that is basically like a little long rectangle. And this part you can do by hand. This is just an easy, faster way to do it. Um, Mr. Turtle Montana is still rapping. I love it. Good on you, man. And while we read that rap, while you guys read that rap, oh my gosh, reading a rap is hard to say. I'm gonna catch up a little bit. Yeah, I keep scratching my glasses when I play with wires. Yeah, right, Cheryl. So these are my safety glasses, but they're super duper scratched up too. And yeah, it's good to wear something, and so not a bad thing. You need safety glasses to protect your glasses. Nice one, Jackie. And let's see. Vicky loves silver, so I wouldn't mind trying to learn that, using silver to make her something. Yeah, definitely. Uh, uh, once you kind of get it figured out, and you can always make the trial pieces into something, and they can become bracelets or necklaces, and then you can move on when you have confidence to the sterling silver. But yeah, don't drink and weave, or don't drive and weave. Oh gee. Don't drink, drive, and weave. You'll definitely get pulled over. That's hilarious. I just expounded upon that a bit. Or for smaller spools, says Spot, you can find picture hanging wire in a few materials and wire thicknesses. Nice. Now, the thing is, for this, we need kind of gross amounts. And so I'm going to try very hard not to spill my tea all over my keyboard. I also bought this from Rio Grande. You know, copper's still fairly inexpensive, and I believe this is the 26. Yeah. And so you can buy large amounts, and the only reason why I'd say getting big amounts, if you're probably just doing, oh, you can make even a ring. I should have included my ring that I did. I've done a few rings out of the Viking Weave too, so I mean, it is really versatile. But let me just say up front that a 3 foot, an approximately 3 foot length of wire will get you about 3 inches of finished Viking weave. And so it's about a foot an inch. And so you definitely need a lot of wire, because you know if you consider the way that the weave looks, you're using a lot of wire to get the thing accomplished. Let me switch that over again. So I mean, that's a lot of wire. This is a heavy thing. There's an unfinished uh uh Jackie, you're gonna need to let me know, measure your wrist, and let me know how how big you want your weave to be, so that I can send that to you. And weave when you drive. Catching up here really quick. Thank you for sharing all of the links, Allison. I appreciate that. And Bob, hey, Bob's in the house, and Stein, Karen, hydrate, Karen. I think I will. Thank you very much. And excellent folks are subscribing to other folks. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm just loving that folks in the community are helping people out so that the smaller channels or people that are just getting started are able to do their lives and and get monetized and all the stuff that they want to do. So you guys rule so much. You're the best community on the interwebs, bar none. Okay, so we've got we've got our stir stick ruler or a so move this over a little bit so that you guys can hear me at the same time as working. And so I'm not using that one. That one's kind of on the thick side for me for the mood that I'm in right now. So I'm over here with this guy. And so the very, very, very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to set yourself up. And I actually learned how to, I'll put a link in the description of this video. Raftark has an awesome video on making the Viking weave. So uh, that's where I learned it. And so you can hit that one for any clarifications that I might miss. So you can see I am taking my wire and I'm putting it underneath the stir stick here, your ruler, your piece of frame molding or whatever. And I'm going to go underneath. My tail is up here. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to make one loop, two loops. Don't go too tight. Just just the bending of the wire pressure is all that it needs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Now, in the future, you can go ahead and put those right next to each other. I just spaced them out so that just for the sake of demonstration and being clear. And you can see that I've got a plentitude of room up here, like a few inches up here. I'm going to even that out up here too, because we're gonna use that. And so we've got a fair amount of wire there. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this number right here, you don't have to specifically always just do 5. You can do 6 and you can do 4. I'm going to show you 5. But there aren't any strict rules, but there are kind of reasons why some things might be easier than other things. And so you can see that I'm sliding it off, like I gathered it and I'm sliding it off of my little ruler or stir stick or whatever it is that you might have. Like a painting stir stick is fine to use, anything that's like that. And so this thing has the shape now of our painting stir stick. What we're going to do with that is we're going to take one piece of the wire from one side, this guy here, and I just want to finish it by feeding it through the hallway of loops. So you can see I just took it from the back and I'm putting it in the front, and I'm just going to finish that. And I'm going to do the same with the other guy. So I'm going to take it from the front and I'm going to thread it through the back. And now those guys are well gathered. Super simple. And that's what that looks like. Oh, by the way, this little ugly and that little ugly, I was sawing and I sawed myself with a jeweler's saw. And then I was hammering and I got myself a really, really good pinch between the project and my anvil on that. Don't do that, you guys. And so right now, I've got my project, the profile of it. Here's my gathered wires, and I've got like TV antennas going on, one coming from one side, one coming from the other side, and I looped them together. Right. And so I'm going to, like, just like a twist tie, I'm just going to twist these now. So while if you're doing this, I'm going to go collect any questions that are in the chat, but just go ahead, and I would twist tie this down so that you've got like a couple centimeters worth of twist tie, while I make sure that I haven't left anybody behind in the chat. Yeah, Jackie. Just send me like if you have a tape measure, just measure it, and you can let me know. Measure it tight, and then I'll know how much to add. um Given the tight measurement, I'll know to add like another inch to make it loose, or whatever. um so Jeff, did you see how I was just feeding this off of the spool? I didn't cut it until I was done wrapping it. So it, like, if I was going to do it again, I wouldn't cut the length yet. I'm just feeding what I need and just rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, and then I cut it when I have the the amount that I need on the stick, if that is making sense. So I haven't ever felt compelled to measure that. I would say that it's at least a couple, I don't know, a couple of feet to get that done. I just leave it on the spool until I'm done wrapping it to answer that particular question. I'm scrolling really quick to make sure that I am not missing something else that's really important here. And Ryan is asking if copper really works to make the joints feel better. And then, if so, can somebody make me a chainmail Viking Weave suit? All right, Ryan. Like, I have heard people absolutely swear by copper. People ask me for copper jewelry all the time. Some people don't like copper jewelry because it might turn your skin a different color, and so um, yeah, we haven't gotten to cutting the 1 foot per inch for a lot of feet quite yet. So you don't have to worry about that, but you should have a fair amount of copper wire on hand for this. So what would I need? 20 feet of wire. Yeah, I would say, Jeff, starting, like, if you want, yeah, like, if you're doing the math, 10 inches is going to be 10 feet of wire. If you like a 20-inch necklace, then you might be going through about 20 feet of wire. And it's like, believe me, it goes fast, but also, like, 20 feet of wire isn't that much wire. It sounds like a lot, but as far as, like, I buy spools of even the silver wire. Me do this really quick. That's the end part of my spool of the silver that I'm using right now on a project that you guys can we'll be able to see when we get a little bit farther. And then you can see there's 2 spools up there of silver wire. When you buy the silver is expensive right now, but wire, especially if you're getting something thin, like a 24, 26, 28 gauge, 30 gauge, you'll be surprised at how many feet you can get for your money. And so, not bad, not bad. um all right. And so, hopefully I answered that question. Do I have any of these on the website? Are you asking me, Brian? I have had some on the website and they go. And so, if that's like an overt request, then I'll get cracking on some more. I usually am flowing where the wind blows as far as what I offer on the website is like the flavor of the month. And I've been working on custom work a lot lately and not making some of the extra jewelry that I really, really enjoy making, like the Viking Weave, just alone bracelets and stuff like that. And so if that is a request, I will definitely address that post haste because I'm into it right now. I'm like, I've got some necklaces that I absolutely have to make for some of the custom orders. And so while I'm at it, I might as well weave away and do some extra work too. And so Tomcat was weaving. Okay, so let's keep going. And sorry, I will try to keep on track so that you guys can keep on going. Okay, and Brian would like to gander at some options. So yeah, and don't feel committed. Like I would be making them anyway. So don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and pop some of those going. So Melissa is saying thin wire is not expensive. I just bought 10 feet of silver 28 gauge for $3. Exactly. And so silver feels daunting, like by the sheet and that sort of thing. But when you get into the wire, it's easy to get into. Yes, you use a lot for the Viking weave, and that's why to practice on the copper. And copper is still really cheap. And so you'll be able to get into plenty of practice copper, for like $10 for like a spool of it. So anyways, Jeff, again, I hope I answered your question. If you have more queries, then we'll definitely keep on trying to answer that. And Jenny has some 22 gauge. Should I attempt this with that? Sure, absolutely. No. You like if you have some sitting there right now, do it. Let's play. I have had some great 22 gauge projects. It's just going to be a little bit on the thicker side, and all of the weaving that we do, it's just harder to zhuzh a bigger wire through some of the little loops that we make because we're weaving. But that's it. And now Jackie's going to be searching for bulk wire. Hey, Jackie, when you find it, like let us all know because this can be very habit forming. When I first learned how to do this, I was just like a weaving fool. So thank you. So Bob's is saying 100 feet of 28 gauge is 34.68. Exactly. So that's not that hard to get into. And then, so like say you make 5 necklaces out of silver out of that. One of those necklaces, you could charge twice that amount for. So, like a half of a necklace pays for your trouble there. And the rest of it is time, though, and this is time consuming. So, excellent. Okay, so I think we're here. Zhuzh. Yeah. How do we spell zhuzh, Ken? You guys might need to look that up and let me know how that's spelled. Okay, so I'm sorry. We're digressing, and like 5 hours later, we we finally start weaving. So you can see how I set this up. Like I said, I was twist tying it, and that's this is not like hardly any of this is an exact sport, guys. That's why I love it. It's pretty abstract. And so this amount you've got up here, it doesn't really matter, but you want we're going to be using this section of the wire to pull our project through the draw plate. And so and don't get scared or excited because I said draw plate and that's not something you have. I'm going to show you a hack where anybody who has a drill or can make a hole in a thing can make a draw plate for this project. And so it's really easy to get into. But you want to at least a couple of centimeters or an inch or so of this little twisted tail. And nice clean twist, wants to be strong. Okay, so we are going to use this later, and so you don't want to just forget about it. And so now we've got this like beautiful little thing, and we're going to wreck it. I'm going to hold it by that tail that we just made, and I'm going to splay out each one of these little rectangles that we have here. And I liked the way that Raftark called it a flower. And so we are going to just make a flower with it. So if you can imagine, each one of these things is a flower petal. And that's why I was saying you can make this by hand by making those loops and then making this flower even without like having the ruler or the paint stirring stick or whatever, a piece of molding for a frame or something like that. Those are all good things to use, but if you don't have that, you can totally do this by hand in a pinch. But you saw that it was just a lot easier to just wrap it around. You get nice even loops if you wrap it around a thing. Okay, so now what this looks like is a flower with a stem. And don't get too attached to this because we're going to ruin it again. But this is when we reach over and we grab our Allen wrench. Now, I was telling people earlier that you don't necessarily need an Allen wrench. You can use a dowel. You can use a pencil. So one of the reasons why people like to use Allen wrenches is because it's got the faceted sides or the angled sides, and this can actually help you to get the wire through the holes, and you'll see why. But one person, if you don't have the technology to make a flower, I did see one person actually used pins and did like say 5 pins or nails at the top of their dowel, and then they started the loops around their pins or their nails. Now you have to be able to pull them back out so that you can take it off, but I was like, hey, that's kind of genius too. And so there are variations. I just like this one the best, and so that's what I'm using, and that's what I'm showing you. Okay, so this is like this activity is called like the octopus eating the Allen wrench. And so these tentacles, even though there are only 5 of them, you could do 8 if you wanted. I'm going to try to wrap them over the top of the Allen wrench so that it looks like the flower has closed over the Allen wrench or the octopus has just eaten the Allen wrench. Now, this does not have to be an exact science yet either. You just have to get it over the top. And so you can see at my top here, I've got the stem of the flower, and it doesn't matter if there's a little space here or anything like that, not an exact science. And then these guys are coming down the sides of the Allen wrench like so. And if you've got something that looks like this right now, congratulate yourself. You are doing great. If you don't, that's okay too. You can catch up. We're not going very fast, are we? And I'm going to have to catch up here with the chat here in a second. Hopefully we're still on and all that good stuff. And so we have some tape. I've got, some painter's tape. I love this stuff. I use this like milk in the refrigerator in the gallery, or rather the studio and in the gallery when I had one. So I'm going to take a short length of tape, masking tape, any like electrical tape, whatever kind of tape you want to use is absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be specific. I am using this particular tape right now. It will come off at the end of the project, and so it's nothing precious. I just wouldn't use anything that's so difficult to remove, like, maybe duct tape or something like that, that you end up like ruining your project trying to get it off. And so it doesn't matter what size it is. I'm just using, gosh, this feels like a standard size, and I can't think of what it is, like 1 1/4 or something like that, 1 1/2. So I got like what looks like about 2 inches. What it just wants to do is it wants to be able to about halfway down. What I mean by halfway down is here's the top, and here's the top of my Allen wrench. Here's the stem, and here's the petals. I'm going to like try to put the center of my tape right about at the top of the Allen key. So half of it is going up and half of it is going down, if that makes sense. And I'm going to get that stuck down first because we're going to go ahead and overlap it. And I'm just going to do that tight. I'm just going to try to, sorry that that's blurry, but I'm going to just try to tape that on, make it tight, and then it's going to make, you're going to have to kind of squish it down towards the stem and kind of crush the tape so that it makes a little cone, and easy peasy, you are ready to weave. What? We're ready to weave? We're only an hour in and we're already ready to weave. That's so cool. Sorry. Okay, and so now what you have looks something like uh, this wire sticking out of a little cone, little missile here, and then you've got this taped area, and then you've got the petals that are drooping. And you can see my petals are in total disarray. This is not making any sort of sense right now. And if yours looks like this, then good, you're fine. What we're going to do is we're going to tidy this up now so that it does make sense. And basically, I just want to bring each one of these loops around so that it's got kind of its own space. Like this one has its own space really good, and this one has its own space really good. Those guys, but everybody else is crowded. And so we're going to move guys around a little bit so that we have less crowding for those ones that are crowded. So those guys have to get a little bit thinner. So you can go ahead and organize your loops so that they have like no overlapping, guys. Like those two are absolutely overlapping. So I'm going to move that over. I like to do this after I tape it. You might choose, like if you're really, coordinated, you can choose to do it before you loop it. But I just figured, I'm sorry, before you tape it. I usually just pull this together afterwards because everything stays put and I can kind of manhandle it around like I am right now and zhuzh it. I hope we have the proper spelling now. So now as you look around, they're a little bit more parallel to each other. I have a tiny bit of overlapping. That's not going to be a problem because this part of the project we actually cut off. Now that we've made something, this is not part of the project that we're going to keep, and that's why we can be super casual about how we set this up. This is actually the jig for your weave, and so we've gotten that far. We're good. Hey, Sandmaker is here. That's super cool. And let's see. Drafting tape is not super sticky. That's right. Sounds like the first part was confusing. I'm glad I came in when I did. Okay, good. Have we figured out an Allen wrench is faceted? Yeah, right, Mr. Montana. Yeah, maybe a little. The flower ate Allen. It did, Travis. It's a Travis sham mockery. What happened to the flower? The flower's all gone. All right, Joseph is here, and um, it looks like Mr. Turtle Montana and Melissa are scrapping now. They said octopi DNA has no match to any other living animal. Might be an alien. How cool is that? Gator Sky Exploration is here. Howdy do. Boom boom bada bing bing. That's right. And okay. 1 hour in, now cut everything off. Right spot? And we're done. Okay, so I think I'm caught up. But actually, hopefully that wasn't too complex. And you can always go back in the video and check out what the heck I was trying to say or accomplish with that. Now, Jeff was wondering what do we do about measuring? And this is the time in which we get to measure. Yay! Because we're doing it. We're doing it now. so I have my my copper here, and what I'm gonna do, this can be either as um, exact as you want it to be, and you can do an experiment and take your own measurement for how long a piece of wire will merit how long a portion of your Viking weave. And if you keep track of the lengths of wire that you use, then you can get a fair assessment of, okay, well, if I want to make an 18-inch necklace, then this is how much wire I use. Because my experience may be different than your experience from the way that we weave or how far we want to pull it through the draw plate, because I usually like to make mine skinny, skinny. Now, if you don't draw it through the draw plate so many times, guess what? You're going to have a shorter necklace for just as much wire. So hopefully that made sense. So when I do lengths, because right now I can eyeball how long it needs to be to go through the draw plate and get to be the length that I want it to be. And actually, you saw those snips. I usually go too long, and then I end up cutting some of it off and it becomes like parts for something else, like a ring or a bracelet. So the measurement part, either at this time, you can measure off 3 feet and get started with that. Or I recommend never going any longer than your wingspan, because then it gets really a hassle in the beginning. As this gets shorter and woven in, it gets easier and easier to manage and not get kinks in and that sort of thing. The thinner the gauge, the more kinks you're going to get, and it's going to drive you flat crazy. And it's one of the reasons why to start with a heftier gauge, because it's easier to work with. But I recommend, 3 feet or no wider than your wingspan. And so I'm going to cut mine off at about what I showed you. And like I said, I don't need to be exact, and you don't either necessarily, if this is just going to be a practice one, or if you feel like you want to use it. One of the cool things is it doesn't matter how long your wire is right now. I could do 1 foot, but then I would have to do, like, say, to make a 20-foot necklace, I would have to do a 20-foot necklace. A 20-inch necklace, I might have to do, like, 20 connections, and the connection place on your necklace may show a little bit, because we have to connect the wire throughout the course of a necklace, uh, one length of wire to another. Just like if you ran out of yarn while you were knitting a sweater, you would connect two pieces and you'd continue. And that does have to happen with this. And so therefore, get a length that you feel comfortable working with, and usually it's good to monitor that length in the beginning so you know how many lengths of that you need to get the desired result that you want. And so I hope that answers a question to Tomcat and Josh. Am I related to an octopus? Maybe. Check your DNA, man. It's possible. I'm getting better, says Gator Sky. Exploration, been under the weather, but on the mend. Good for you. Me too. Um, and let's see. Okay, you guys are going back and forth with some comments, so that's cool. And we're gonna get going again. Karen's mystery client must be the Jolly Green Giant 20-foot necklace, right? Yikes. Okay, here we go. So let's get this back up here and do this. And here we are. Okay, so this is how you get started. This is like, between getting your flower on top of your Allen wrench or your dowel, and then also the getting started part with your wire. After this, you can zone out. You could be watching a movie, or listening to your significant other go over, their day at work, or listing things, or whatever it is that they do. So this is a pay attention time, and then actually we get to kind of zone after that. So here I'm going to show you, and probably not be able to talk as well. So you see that there's the meet points between two pieces of wire, and so I'm going to feed from right to left. I'm going to go underneath the two meeting points of like the little flower petals. All right. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to just go underneath the two. See how close can I do this and still stay focused? So there's a space underneath there, and that's why we're using an Allen key, is because those facets will bump these angles up off, and it makes it easier to get the wire underneath. So underneath two of them, the meeting of two of your petals, and then you're going to pull this bad boy all the way through until you've got a little tail at the end. So here's my tail. And now all of it is to the left of me, and I just have a little tail to the right. Whoops, finding the center. There we go. And I'm going to bend this down, and that will go to the left. And this is my first loop, and I'm going to put that right in the center. The stuff that came through the wire petals always goes over the top. And so the stuff coming from the left always goes on the bottom, and the stuff coming from, it goes through and then it comes over the top. And so I actually have a visual for you guys for that. Here we go. All right, so we're going below the loop, and then coming out and going over the wire. And actually, we're a little bit before this, so we'll keep on with this guy here. And so we've got the loop. All right, is everybody there? Rawr. Okay, good. And can I start from the beginning? Boot, you're hilarious. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to link these two, going underneath and pulling it through. See, like once you get this part started, you're going to be off to the races for weaving. Now I like to put my fingernail right there, and I'm just going to, now I have two loops. I have that loop, and I have that loop, and I have a little swag. And so I'm going to take my wire, and I'm going to move to the next two petals. And from the right-hand side, I'm going to go underneath them both, that meet point, trying to keep her in focus, and pull it. Whoa. And when I was talking about kinks, this is what I mean, this guy right here. You can just kind of finger undo the kink to get it through. With this smaller wire, oh my gosh, those things are like an absolute like tearful devastation. So you want to kind of keep your eye on the wire and make sure that you don't get too kinky. I mean, this is just one of those times when you don't want to be too kinky. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to pull this until I have a loop and a swag. So where's my swag from this one? You can either not worry about it yet, but I like to keep things clean, so I pulled it down with my fingernail, or you can use your needle nose pliers to pull that down as well. And so now I have the loop and a swag and a loop and a swag. And we're going to do it again. And we're just going to make our way around the Allen key or wrench until we have a loop and a swag each time. And like I said, the way that these petals are behaving, it's like all this blur, doesn't matter so much, because yeah, like I said, we're sacrificing that. There will be an alien octopus sacrifice at the end. Sorry, Josh. And then we'll be left with the Viking weave. Okay, so something went wrong here. Like I was trying to do it underneath the phone, and I missed my my pedal here. So in the case of an emergency, just go back. And so I'm just going to push that back. And sometimes this is where your needle nose pliers are nice to have. you know, if you want to isolate, okay, there you are, and start pulling that out. And then I'm just going to pull that back, and we're going to make that move again. So mistakes are totally okay. You know, just you just want to recover from it. And so I didn't get it all the way out because I want to go through the top, not through the bottom. And so that's where I made the mistake, not watching what I was doing properly. And it's all okay. You can always go back. Nothing is forever with this until it is. And so I just need to meet these two petals together and go underneath. So starting in the right place this time, and then making sure that it feeds underneath them both. Little depth perception problems there. There we go. And pull that bad boy through. And we are a weaving. That's right, already only an hour and a half in, and we are weaving. So a flower with, say, 8 petals will affect the final width. Yeah, it will. There's a lot more wire to have to cram into the space, and so as you pull it through your draw plate, it'll be a lot more complex and fancy looking, but it'll probably end up being a fatter thing, which is great. Okay, so we've got loop swag, loop swag, loop swag. And so we'll keep on going. It's okay. Like, you know, this one will have to dip down a little bit lower, but again, it's not gonna be anything permanent. my wires are trying to marry down here. So probably get those guys out of the way. And hopefully everybody's doing okay out there, playing along at home. So we're almost to where we started, and this is another place where I'm sure you guys have questions. Now, if I'm having trouble getting my wire through, I can always turn it just a little bit, and that way it goes onto the flat part, and the angles hold the petals up off of my Allen wrench. And so that's why to use something that's angled, like I said, so that you can kind of make it a little easier as you go through this beginning part. And then as you go around the weave, then similar with going through these little loops. And so we are at the last loop. We got a little smiley face, and a smiley face, and a smiley face, and a smiley face, and they go all the way around now. And we're back to our very first loop that we got started. And this one I had to check out a few times before I felt really comfortable with what the heck I was doing when I was just getting started with this. But all you do is, it's good to make this little juncture clear. Like, that swag wants to be definite. There's my smiley face. Hello. You know, two loop eyes and a big teethy smile. And so we are going to take the wire to get started going over again. We're going to put it in the mouth. There. But it wants to go underneath that loop. See that? So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it in the swag area, and then I'm going to take it underneath the crisscross of that loop. Underneath. So over, under. And I'm going to pull that. And that's going to happen every time you have to start a new piece of wire, but that's not a transition you're going to have to make each time, and they'll just go around and around and around. And so now we've made the transition from the first tier to the second tier. And now basically it's a story of just going around and around and around. And so now that we're not doing flower petals, we're doing loops. And so I put my wire from the top, over the top of the bottom lip of the smile, underneath that crisscross of the loop, and then it comes out the left side over the top. And what I mean by over the top is it's coming up over the top of that lip of the smile to the left and making a whole nother level of the smile or the swag. And then we go to the next one, and we've done that one. So this is our next loop. We go over the top of that bottom lip, underneath the crisscross of the loop, and then we pull it over the top. And look at how it wants to do that. That's ugly. We don't want that. See all that curling? I want to straighten that out so that you don't get kinks in your wire. But like, this is why the thicker the wire, the easier. This is so much easier than, like, say the 30. The 30 is elegant, but it's a lot harder to work. And so loop, loop. We have the swag, and now we're starting to double up. And so I'm gonna see over here. It's easier with stiffer wire, says Randy, like half hard. Yeah. It definitely, it'll poke your eye faster, but it definitely is easier to manage and won't want to wrinkle so fast with getting a kink. Brian's Viking brain says I better buy one and not attempt this myself. Oh dear. And all right, well, I'll go ahead and put some up. And then Ryan is saying good night. Thank you so much for joining us. And Tom Katz is angle of the dangle. Yep, it's important. And the Uinta Basin is full of wonders. I'll say that again, Rocky. Gotta love that so much. Brian is a grown child, and Jenny gets it now. Excellent. And let's see, Karen, can I do this the opposite direction since you're a lefty? I am not sure about that. I haven't tried doing it the opposite direction. Maybe, sure. It seems like if you can flip that accurately in your brain space, it should work. I don't see why not. Okay, Paul's Jewelry Sales has been trying to learn this, so here you are, Paul. And you can backtrack in the video. And what I'm going to do in the description is I'm going to put the highlight moments, that go in between these little talking moments, so that if folks need to use this as a learning tool, then they can go back to, okay, this is when she, finished the flower. This is when she started the weave here, et cetera, and so forth. So thank you for joining us, Paul. And let's see, I have to do that with practically everything, so I'll give it a go. Okay, Melissa. Hopefully this is kind of working for you. I think I would be able to do this left-handed if it was going the other direction. And so, it's not so coordinated, heavy that, like, you probably could flip it, and be able to go the right direction. Look, like, I don't mean the correct direction. I mean the right-handed direction over the left-handed direction. All right. So, and Sonia is finished with the 400 and on to the 600 grit sanding paper. What are you working on, Sonia? I would love to know. And so, okay, cool. Thank you, Melissa, for the vote of confidence. And so we're gonna go on, because this just, like, gets better as we go along, or easier. At first, I think I had to stop Raftark's video, like, I don't know, 10 times or so, just to figure out what was going on. I have some 22 gauge wire that I may try it with. Please do. Okay, so here's the picture that I put up before. I put it up a little too early before. So we go over the right part of the tail, or the swag. and then go underneath a loop every time, and then come over the left tail or the left side of the swag. And so you can see in the lower part, it goes after the over left tail, you repeat on and bring it around to go over the right side lower lip, underneath the cross, over the left side of the lip. And so all the way to the right hand side of our little diagram, you can see, the if you follow the pink one especially, you swoop up and underneath and out over the top, and swoop again, up and underneath that cross and down and over the top. And so that the lower lip is always getting hit over the top of, and the cross of the loop is always the underneath of that wire that you're working with. And so we shall go back to this guy, and we'll finish this pass, and you'll see how easy it is to just keep on going, because from here on out you could be watching your favorite movie, or maybe listening, because you might have to keep an eye on the project a little bit. But Tiger Eye is saying this is a cat safe. This is not a cat safe activity. I'll bet you the cat would love, love, love to play with this, huh? It's a complicated Olympic symbol. Yes. All right. I want to plane that loops the loop, and still want a hula hoop. Yeah, all of it, all of it. Okay, here we go. And so maybe this reach all the way. Okay. And so here we go. Underneath and through, and pull it. And I always feel like it just gets easier as you go along, because your working metal gets shorter as you go along. Everything just starts to go faster. And so I like to check the connections each time, though, so that I know I don't have like a bad weave. Up here at the very top, it wouldn't be like, super bad if you got a bad weave in, because folks might not see it given what kind of connector you create. Like if I do a barrel connector, people won't even see uh this first set of the weave. It'll be underneath the connector. And so, you can get all of your spazzing out right now, and then go on for perfection as you work down a little bit. And so I'm there. We've got smiles and connectors looking uniform as we go along. It doesn't have to be, like, look, it looks kind of sloppy at this point, and it doesn't have to be a thing of beauty. As we pull it through the draw plate, those minor differences between the sizes of a loop or a swag will go away. It will get pulled out. And that's one of the things I love most about this, is that you kind of can be a little bit loosey-goosey about, how accurate this thing feels as you go along. So I just went through that loop there. Was our first loop, right? Because there's two. And without even paying attention, there's three. All of a sudden, and that's going to start happening to you. You'll just keep on going around, and then all of a sudden you've got just like a whole line of these, just all of a sudden. Like, okay, so one of the things, and I'm wondering now if I put my tape on too tight. One of the things you want to do is, you can see that it took me a second, but I can take this on and off of the Allen key. And so if you should need to use the Allen key for work on your vehicle or your bike or something like that, because that's what you stole it from, you can still use it, and you can put your project that you're working on aside. But what I want to show you now is how to get rid of this little guy here. We have a tail, And if we pulled it through the draw plate with a really long piece of wire, then we'd probably end up having something sticking out, and that would be poking whoever wants to wear this. And so the way to get rid of it is to take your wire cutters, and let's see how close my phone will be letting me get to it. And I like to snip it to, like a few millimeters. Like you can snip it, like don't do it too close, or else, just like in a sweater, it could, when you draw plate, you could draw it out. But if you give it like enough of a tail, couple 3-4 millimeters or so, snip that bad boy like I just did. Take your needle nose pliers before you get too many loops ahead of where that was. And like I said, for a typical, I like to make 18-inch necklaces, and I would say, I've got 6 uh, decent lengths of this on there to create it. And and that being like 3 feet at a time or so, so your results will definitely vary. But the way that I like to pull it, um, I'll have 6 connections. And so those are 6 opportunities for these little pokey things to be there. And so I like to take care of them as I go along, so that it's, you can't get up in there after you've gone on. Now my phone is like really not happy, like trying to tune in on that. So what I'm going to do, if you guys can see it, is I'm going to grab it with my needle nose pot pliers, and I'm going to push it upwards, just alongside, and just press it against, just going upwards. Because when you draw that way, it'll just stay inside the tube, and it'll just get closed inside. It's actually pretty genius. Those Vikings pretty much, like, they didn't just know how to sail the 7 seas. They did a great job on figuring out how to make jewelry too. And then you can stick the cap back onto your Allen, and you're ready to work again. And so that's how to clean up your work. And you saw, like, I did a whole line. So I was on step, the level 3. I leveled up, and then we're ready to go over the top and underneath the loop, and then finishing by hitting the microphone and pulling it over the top again. So you always go over the top of that smiley bottom lip each time, and boom. And you just keep on going around like that. And so, whoa, Sonia, oh my gosh. And it probably sounded like I was down the road and down the street. Thank you. Thanks for the image of an octopus eating an Ellen. Aw, thank you. That's hilarious. you know, you gotta have like the colorful illustrations in your mind that help you to keep some of this stuff in control, intact. Okay, so um I'm just making sure that I've got everybody's questions answered as we're going along. And okay, here we go. Amazon 26 gauge bare copper wire, 423 feet for a $12 spool. Yes, that is awesome. So this is, you can see how easy this is. So easy materials to come by. It's going to be about like putting the time in. To create the weave is all, so it is time consuming. So that's basically what you end up charging for if you're making jewelry for other people, and then you just have something super duper cool for yourself if that's the way that you're doing it. So let's see, the fire is lit on the Acropolis. You can bet somebody up there is wearing one. Excellent. And let's see. And there's no counting stitches like crocheting. Excited to do this. Yeah, like I literally go like just gush brained. After I get this started, you can really relax. And then visually, if something shows you like, oh, that doesn't look like the rest of them, then you can, then you can backtrack. And backing out the wire the bigger the wire gauge, the easier it is to back out. And so, like I said, as you move towards the thinner gauges, it does get a little bit more, tricky, jinky, whatever. But like the big gauges like this, you can't mess up. It's, if you mess up, you just make it all better. You just smooth it out and it's all good. Thank you so much again, Sonia. That is like so sweet of you to do. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll put that towards fire opals or towards band-aids for my finger or some more silver wire, something really good. But I really appreciate that. And Rocky Mountain is such a loosey-goosey. Like, yeah, you get to be. This is one of those projects where you can be loosey-goosey and it turns out looking super good at the end, even if you're a bit messy, if you got a messy room about it. And so it's good. Snip, snip, and it's good. Yep. Okay. Snip it good. Na 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 na. When a wire comes along, you must snip it. Yeah, something like that, right? And is this like finger weaving where you pull the whole thing at the end and it tightens up? Yes, Jenny. It is exactly like that. And so what yeah, it's like don't stick your fingers into each end of it. Yeah. Or else you might be sad. Um but I was so proud to get that berserker helm. Nice. Um Let's see. Impatient, want to see the right. Okay, so interesting, Jenny. I really wanted to have something ready to pull through the draw plate so that you guys could get like the ooh, it's so good when you get to do that. But what I'm gonna have to do, because I didn't have enough time to get that far along in a project today, I have like the custom orders that I need to also spend brain power and do. And so I didn't. So what I promised to do is I will get this copper one um, all the way down to when we get to play with the draw plate. And then I will also, I started this guy because this is what I am supposed to be doing. But now, like because of Brian, and Jackie, I am supposed to be doing this copper guy that I started tonight as well. So this, you can see how what this is not a world that you want your head in, right? Like it's so small, but you can see I use the brass wires, and that one's started by a few tiers. We got farther almost on our big copper one than I got on the smaller one. That takes a long time to do that small itty bitty wire because it's constantly wanting to do things like those of you who sew, it like wants to make knots. It wants to make knots so hard, and you're like, oh no. And once you get a kink in it, it's really hard to pull through the rest of the project. And so you don't want to make kinks. And so you're constantly trying to like, this is so much easier. This is a pleasure to work with. Oh, Tomcat is making an anonymous donation. Thank you, Anonymous and Tomcat. For playing with the wires and being a Viking with us this evening. And so one of the things that I want to show you guys is the draw plate, because I told you that you do not need high technology, and we'll do a little bit more of this, but I want to show you the draw plate first, just in case you need to buzz. And so you can have a high zoot beautiful draw plate, guys, and you can buy one for like from I think 30 or 40 bucks all the way to pay what you want to on like Rio Grande. And so thanks again, Josh. That was very, very cool. Really appreciate it. So here's my high zoot draw plate, guys. Does this look familiar? Do you have a plank of wood that is waiting to just get Swiss cheesed? Then this show is for you. So you can see that the idea here, this is cherry. So actually it's pretty hard, but you can see this is a totally warped, actually you probably can't see. It's a super warped piece of wood. Yeah, maybe you can see there. It's like I think I might have gotten it out of the free pile at the lumber yard because, it's not worth anything to anybody except for me because it makes a great draw plate. So you start with your drill and you drill with your graduating uh uh drills. Drill bits. Oh my goodness, where's my brain? Where is my mind? I don't know. And so you can see you just work your way down. And I have 2 rows just because what I ended up doing is I made the graduated, and then what you'll do is as you keep on pulling the wire through, that hole will get bigger. And so then you need the smaller one, but then the smaller one will get bigger. And so you need the smaller one. And so you keep on drilling holes, not only to have the smaller one to pull it through, if you wish to have a small, thin necklace, ring, bracelet, whatever it is that you're making. Necklace for the Jolly Green Giant, but also, I started needing backup holes because, like, I would make one too big, and so I'd need another one that was actually the size of the one in between that one and that one, or yeah, I hope I'm making some sense there. And then a lot of these smaller holes, you can see because they kept on getting bigger, but this is about as small as I make them. This is the 2.5 millimeter. So those little silver guys that are right there came through that there. And, they started off probably up here somewhere, and you're just able to graduate down and keep pulling. And this is so cheap. And so, in order to draw, you're going to take the end of your. Here's one that still has, oh, I can draw for you guys. Huh. Well, okay, like, this is imagine that this hasn't been drawn yet, but this can draw some more. You've got your tape here. This is what it looks like when you're finished with, oh, Bob's Rocks. Pokemon Band-Aids. I know, do you feel terrible about my don't do this, you guys. This one bled a lot. It was so bad. And I had to keep on working, so I just kept on working. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm like bloodletting here. But thank you so much for that, Bob. I promise I will buy some more Band-Aids so that yeah. I will cover up my boo-boos next time. And Berserker Metals, hey, how's it going? You know my all father Odin? Yeah, right? It's in he's at home. He's back at home. We're hanging out, making him a necklace, maybe a beautiful bracelet. Uh, and thank you for coming in. Twisted doesn't slip when you pull it. Right. Yeah. Okay. So Sandmaker, have you made this before? You totally know what you're talking about. You must also be a Viking weaver and puller of things. Um, he owes me 20 sheep. Nice bits. Yeah, you guys are trying to finish my sentences because I can't. The brain is still like definitely has the sick mush to it. So thank you for clinging on for dear life, trying to make sense of what I'm doing here. You can use a wire sizer. Yeah, yeah. The regular draw plate is really the high zoot way of going, or you can make your own like this one. Wood works great with the metal. So metal drawing a real wire, you definitely need a regular draw plate. But for this, you can use a wooden one. And oh my gosh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Bob. I will get a Band-Aid. And Tiger Eye, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that so much. And just wear thimbles, gosh, I would crush my finger into a thimble, I'm afraid. It's a good idea though. Um, Yes, the Allfather or the Vader. Um, yeah, over there sitting on the alting trying to figure out what's going on. So you can do it with a twisted wire. I wouldn't recommend trying to weave with the twisted wire. Twisting the wire at the end there helps it go through the draw plate. And big incense holder is another thing that you could do with this for sure. Why did the god of thunder need to stretch his legs? He was a little tore. Oh wow! You know what? Sir Berserker Metals, it looks like you and Mr. Chubby Hubby, or rather, I'm sorry, Mr. Turtle Montana, are going to go to fisticuffs on good jokes. So I appreciate that. Excellent. All right. So if you are ready to draw plate, and some people they'll go ahead and pull their project through a draw plate, and they won't be done yet just to see what it looks like. And then they'll try to put it back on to the Allen key. I don't like doing that because what you end up doing is you pull it through the draw plate. Like obviously this is like too big of a hole for this guy, but you don't do like it'll be flaring out at the end, having not been drawn yet. Get in there, get into focus. um, and you can always fit that back onto your Allen key, just pull it back out this way instead of going all the way through. But I like to wait for the big reveal till the very end. That's just me. And so it can be done. And so let's go ahead and draw this through one of the smaller holes though, so that you guys can see what the process looks like. And so one of the tricky things is like, of course, getting your tape through the plate hole. So a real draw plate that isn't this thick is going to be better for, being able to grab on the other side. And so let's see if Karen even can do this one. I might have started at too small of a hole. Let's go through a bigger hole first. Okay, so we're going to readjust and go through this one first. And so that's like one of the rules of the game is that it has to be able to, edge through the hole so that you can get purchase on it with dun 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 pliers. Okay, so the two things that you need for the ending of making your Viking weave, at least the woven part, you need the wire, you need the key that you're going to be using as the thing that you're weaving around, some tape, some wire cutters, some pliers. And then that's really all that you need to get going until this step. And then you just need to make yourself a draw plate. I watched Raftark's video and just went downstairs and made this draw plate like, in 5 minutes. And then I was back up like following along with his video. And so you're going to take it from the opposite side of your project and you are going to pull it through. And I like this plank because I actually did need to get some pressure going to pull it through, which is kind of cool. I like this whole plank because I can put it down on the floor and I can, hold it with my feet and my legs and then use that to, create the torque to pull it through. And so now this is longer and thinner. And so every single time you pull it through, it's going to get lengthier and it's going to get thinner. Now, also a thing that happens is that you can see how elongated these loops are. I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to mean here. And some people so this is a really long one too. These are long loops, which meant that this was a pretty open weave. Whereas I like this is smaller, but like you can see that the loops are tighter. So I like to have more loops, like what Jenny was talking about earlier, where you can have instead of say 4 petals, you have 6 petals or 7 petals, and you're going to have like a more intricate loop design, and they're not going to get pulled out as long, if that's making sense. So each one of these loops is like that long, a couple millimeters long. And so, that's just something, is that if you like a nice tight design, like this is a tighter design. See how that's pulled out, but those sections are not as long. Like there's a V there and there's a V right there, and this is a bigger width bracelet and yet has a smaller V to it. And so anyways, wanted to explain that to you. The big weevil. I was wondering why the frisbee appeared larger the closer that it got, and then it hit me. Nice. Oh, you guys are awesome. Trading bad jokes. I love it. A good pair of wire pulling pliers, yes, are on your wish list. Very cool, Berserker. Yeah, me too. They have a little hook. Yep. So that your hand doesn't slip off the end. Yeah, I'm hoping to upgrade. I just got a metal mill, rolling mill. So I need to get a proper wire pulling situation for my studio at this point. So could someone use this method for other things, or does it only work with my wire? Asking for a friend. So Berserker, actually, Cheryl, I think it was, you guys can help me out. Asked this question about the beading material, I think beading thread or whatever. And so I don't know. I think it has to be able to hold its body somewhat. But you guys are welcome to do some experimenting and let me know. Because I would love to know. And thank you, Sandmaker, saying that I'm doing a good job. Well, under the circumstances, I'm hoping that at the very least this is of value to you guys. If you are hoping that you can give this a try, I hope that you did get started, and we will continue. Melissa, Karen, will you be able to show us how to connect a new wire once you run out? Yeah, that would be a really good thing. Do you want to do that now? I can actually, let's cut my project that I'm working on, and we'll start over again with the same project, just so that you get the connection. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, if you guys have really important things like this, feel free to put them in all caps also, so that you shout them at me, just in case I start doing something and get too distracted. Love you, Mom. Thank you for watching. and so we'll show how to reconnect when you get to the end of a wire, and then what I will do is a recap when somebody else isn't doing another live stream. I know that we've got Wednesday Hump Day for the great Josh, Tomcat Zzz, Josh. And so maybe either tomorrow night or on Thursday night. I know that Rufo was thinking about going. And so if somebody else doesn't go, then I will go ahead and finish this project with y'all. And we'll do another live. And of course, you're welcome to hang out and heckle or do whatever you want to. And then I also wanted to go over patina for you as well with the liver of sulfur. And so we've got more to cover, and it's worth doing. Okay, so we're gonna do the unthinkable, and we're gonna like, what happens if I got so bad of a kink that I just needed to end the project right now? No. Okay, or we ran out of our copper. Okay, so that's the end. So we need to start over again. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start like we started with the pedal, and pretend that this crossover right here is a pedal, or start like you wanted to start another row of these guys. And so there's nothing on this side except for this tail, which we're kind of going to hold down so that we have this cross here. So it's the end, my beautiful friend. So I'm going underneath like we got started in the very beginning. I'm going to feed it all the way through. So it's like Melissa's probably already figuring like, oh, it's going to be like there's not a whole lot to remember here. It's going to be like we did when we started. I'm just holding it down so that it doesn't go anywhere. I'm sorry that wasn't great footage, but we're going to get down to the point where we only have a tail. And we're going to hold that tail and we're going to cross that over the other tail. This is the tail of two tails. I'm sorry, I was drifting. Hand drift. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and that's not a proper loop, but that is. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But there, we've made a loop. So now we have, our succession of loops has recurred again. And so we've got a tail here, and we've got the active bit of wire here, and then we have another tail down here. That's our red-headed step tail. And so this should be coming over the top of all that business. And we're going to come over here and we're going to get started with our weave again. That is how easy it is. And so I'm going to go over here and do that because hard to see over there. So this is where, depending on how you do it, whoa, where'd I go? Am I still here? Yeah. Well, where's my hand? I lost my hand. So I'm pulling it through this next one, and depending on how, like, here's this word again, how well you judge this window here, is going to help you, like, either have that be a notable separation and something that people will be able to see when they look at, inspect your jewelry closely or not. And so everybody, we're always getting better at that. Bravo. Holden tail. Good night, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. And all right. Thank you, Sandmaker. So here we are. You go all the way around again. Let's do that really quick. Wow, this camera is also starting to run out of battery, so we'll have to do this really quick, and then that'll be a wrap. So we just want to get all the way around so that we can see how we tuck in those tails, because then we got to tuck in the tail, right? And so I'm just going under my loops and I'm paying attention. But this is how fast you can go if you know what you're doing and you've got some nice easy wire to work with. You can just jam. And this is like jamming that you can do, like I said, when you're hanging out with friends, listening to music, watching a show, listening to a podcast, whatever. Okay, so we're back over here to our connection spot, and we've got like a bit of confusion. Wah! So we're going to sort out what it is our loop. And we've got, here's our swag where my fingernail is there. And there's our crossover for that loop. And so as we're coming back underneath and making the new swag, that guy, there's that. Whoa, sorry. There we go. That'll get you into focus better. So now it's starting to look the way it's supposed to. I'm going to go, into that little swag area. What I don't want to do, I'm going to tell you what I want to not do. I don't want to pick up the red-headed step tail to the right. And so I just want to get underneath the cross that is my new little looper. And this is hard to do like through the camera. So I'm gonna just do that really quick. This is one of those places where it's nice to be able to turn it on the Allen and get it right. And so I'll hold it down here and actually get that done. Okay, so you can see I'm trying to avoid that little tail there. And so I'm going to get it out of the way temporarily so that I can pull. Easier said than done. Just want to get that guy. Thread it. Come on. Come on. You can do it. It was one of those tenser moments. There we go. And there. Okay, sorry guys. See, that goes underneath the cross of the loop and leaves the red-headed steptail behind. And we're gonna go ahead and pull that through. And you can only imagine, oh my gosh, you guys fixed a TV, that's cool. As I'm these are the kind of kinkinesses that make life difficult, so you don't want that to be happening. See how kinky that is? So I'm still trying to pull that through because it got like wonky from trying to press it. Okay, so I'm pulling it and I'm getting that underneath, and that's going to be a nice big swag. And so there's probably going to be a space there. And when I pull it out, it'll probably fill that space in. But that's how I connect them. And then I start swagging again all the way around. And then before, like when I get back to this and I add another loop, Michelle, I'm going to want to cut my two tails, the good tail and the red-headed step tail, and tuck them straight up, like, you know, a couple millimeters that tuck straight up. And that's how you get them all started. But that'll attach there, and you'll just go on your merry way of weaving. All right. And so Steinkern, you guys. Woo. Did we do it? Did anybody make it through that? Now it won't have babies. We snipped it. Maybe not. Okay, and so had image doubling and had to mess with all the pins and block a few at a time to find the problem spot. Took forever. Well, it sounds really cool, Rufo. I'm so glad that you were able to fix your stuff. That's so good. And Melissa, I did. See, and I call, like, you know, Brian gets to be everybody, and same with Jeff. Like, they were interchangeable for a little while. Yeah, it's the brain. And there's nothing but tea in this cup or in that other cup. It's just orange drink. And so, yeah, Mr. Turtle Montana, it is time for bed. And it's later over there for you. Thank you for hanging out. That is a big swag, then swag again, all the way around. Yep, good big bunches of swag. But yeah, they do come out in the wash, and so it'll all look way more like this, even as a beginner. But you know, if you look close, you can probably find. Seems like I just saw a connection. They're there, but you know, it's incredible. I love weaving with metal. It is so exciting. And then I can also kind of show you, like, if you want a brief tutorial on, say, making caps or something like that, peeling the caps back. All right, Melissa. Not Michelle, but Melissa. Thank you. I'm glad that you actually learned. I know that this is something, like I said, where I had to start and restart and go back in the video many times before I felt like I was remembering how to do things. And so that's totally fine. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments if it doesn't occur to you to leave in the chat right now, and I'll answer them in, you know, as we're going along here between now and when we can do another video where we can finish up the project. Right, and an inspector. I mean, there's a lot to keep track of, Jeff and Brian. Geez. And Melissa and Michelle. Yeah, and Melissa, I know that's what we do. She's saying that her dad issues through all of the female names of the family until he gets to Melissa. We do that with the dogs. You know, you're like calling every child until the right one comes up. I'm glad, Allison, that you also learned? And Rocky says it's swagalicious. Well, like I said, I like to put things in my head that help me remember the shapes, like the smiley faces and stuff like that, so that hopefully you can remember, like the octopus eating the Ellen. All right. Let's see. And how heavy are they when you're done? Great question, Rocky. So yeah, like I said, I'll do a finish up video as early as tomorrow, just depending on who else is doing lives. I just I don't want to hog up all the nights. I know it won't be Wednesday, and then maybe on Thursday if it doesn't happen on Tuesday tomorrow. But it would be good to be able to be fresh, and be able to go right over. And then I guess kind of going on Thursday is redundant because I'll go on Friday. Then again, it might be the podcast. Okay, she thinks out loud too much. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to weigh this. This is gonna be hard to put. Like this guy here is almost full size bracelet, and I'm trying to get it all on the scale, and it's having a hard time being all on the scale at the same time, so it's lying a little bit, but it looks like it's about 10 11 grams, and so it's not very heavy. Like a heavy pair of earrings, like I think that they say stop making earrings be about like 7 8 grams, and so it's not even that much heavier than like a big earring. And so that was a good question. um And yeah, Jackie's gonna be searching for the cheap wire rolls, and yeah, I'll help as many times as you guys want me to. Like, we can hang out and weave all you want, because this is something that I should be doing on the regular, because people seem to always want them. Wow, it looks like the sun's still shining, and that's actually this new light that I got from Harbor Freight. I love it. I'm gonna be like a Harbor Freight ad now, but like, wow, like totally inexpensive. It's like a Jackie moment. Like I got it for totally inexpensive and it works really good. I'm definitely that kind of shopper as well. I loved what you were saying earlier about your rocks. Like I'm poor, but I can, like, I'll buy good things that are inexpensive. How does that go? And let's see. Karen live 3 to 5 nights a week is just what I heard, right? I don't need to do that. So, like, probably, twice is plenty sufficient, but I do wanna get this project done, and I wanna get it done in timely time for you guys to be able to, like, have a finished, Viking weave by this weekend. How's that? If you do so want to choose to accept the challenge, the mission, if you choose to take it, Inspector Agate, sir, and all y'all out there. It's going to take practice, but I believe I can learn it. Yeah, anybody can. Cheryl, like, believe me, this is just a cool skill to have. And if you end up, like I said, making a twisted thing, um, and you want to make it into a bracelet or a ring or into a necklace, this is yet another way that you can hang your work, and it's 100% of your making. So it's yet another extension of the things that you can do instead of having to order more of something. Like, yeah, you have to get the wire, but like it's a lot more cost effective than having to buy the chain. And I love that, and it stays in that handmade zone so nicely. Um, and Let's see, Gem Show live on Saturday. Oh, cool. Tomcat Jazz. Yeah, because Kyle's not going to be on. There's something to think about too. I was actually thinking about like maybe even doing something over the weekend to fill up some of the space. Uh yeah, cool. All right. Yay. Josh is going to do a so swagalicious. Well, yeah, I'll say that all you want. Yay for Tomcat Josh doing live, and swagalicious. This is a good word. Um, from your conversation with yourself when you should be looking, I You, I be looking for you next. Hmm. Huh? I'm not making sense to myself. Get your weave on, says Rocky. Yeah. Yeah, Kyle, free weekend, so we have open slots. Yeah, yeah, I think everybody, all y'all should go live. We got Jackie going live and Cheryl going live, and I haven't seen Sandmaker, and Sandmaker could go live, and Rocky calling you out. Allison's got her Wednesday thing too. You guys have to go check out. Like I just have to have coffee with Allison every Wednesday now in the morning. Um, I don't need a pint of ice cream, but that didn't stop me. Well, you earned it with the hard work of the live earlier. I love it. Um, oh, and Jack is going to be at a rock show this weekend as well. Very cool. Lots of shows going on. Keep your eyes open if you're looking for something to do. Moon looks full like a carnelian. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go take a gaze out at that, Tiger Eye. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and okay, so Brian, are you saying that Jeff is at a rock show live this weekend as well? Wow, everybody's gonna that's awesome. We're gonna totally fill in the blank. Because I know a lot of you don't know what to do if Kyle's not online. So we'll have somewhere to hang out, guys. Thanks, everyone for making the hangouts happen in lieu of Kyle taking a little break. And always a pleasure, Tomcat. Josh, it's really great hanging out with you guys and spending what energy I have. Sorry that I'm a little flaky on the cabeza. Bubblehead still in full effect from being sick or whatever my excuse is for today. And seriously, thank you, Melissa, for coming. The Mountain Mushroom Festival and Kentucky Agate Festivals are going on. Yeehaw, says Jeff. Well, I added the yeehaw part, but all right, cool, Jeff. We'll be checking that out. And let's see. Uh, yep, everybody's like, yep, Shroom Festival is happening. Very cool. All kinds of good stuff going on Saturday. This is going to be great. And I was hoping that you'd chime in, Rufo, so that I knew. Rufotris is, let's see if I can get that going. There we go. Planning on going live Saturday since Kyle won't be around. I'll have a post up tomorrow about it. Great. So we can, dude, we're just going to go ahead and plan our schedules. We can like start knowing where we're going to be doing our little toadstool hopping or whatever. I love it. What is this outside you speak of, Brian? Asks Melissa and not Michelle. Well, thank you so much for coming, Scott, and all y'all. Just cheers and Steinkerns. I actually, here, I'll take a swill of my juice. Uh, what's in your stag? I hope that you guys all have a wonderful rest of your Monday. What a great way to kick off the week, but to spend it with you guys starting a project. And so we just got started. There's more to go. And I hope that you guys get a chance to work on it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me either here in the comments or over there on the Discord, and I'll respond as quickly as I can. I know that this can be kind of dodgy to get into, but it's super fun to know how to do. The spoils are awesome, and it's a cool thing. And so thank you for Vikinging along with me. See, Viking can be a verb, right? Oh, Tomcat, Josh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. You're the best. You guys are the best crew in the whole wide world. I'm telling you that. Steinkerns to you. All right. And what I'll do is like last time, I'll throw some music on so that you guys can say all your goodbyes and good nights and all that good stuff. And again, I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this Monday. You guys make me feel better on this long, weird illness. And you guys roll and rock and all that good stuff. So thanks again. And we're gonna throw on that wonderful intro music. which is crazy, like, Viking music here. Where'd it go? She said, "It's gonna happen." There we go. I'll catch you on the flip side. Cheers. And I got this too. There we go. And that is a wrap.